Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. In this episode of Check Out the Tech, we are taking a look at the fresh off the assembly line ABS pre-built desktop with the new Intel 13th Gen CPU. I'm really excited because this is the first 13th Gen PC I've gotten my hands on, and I'm very curious to see what it can do. I'll start off by going over the specs for this specific model, test out some gameplay, and tell you who I think this is best suited for. If you want to see benchmarks on this specific model, subscribe because we'll definitely be doing a breaking benchmarks video for this in the near future. To start off the specs, we have the CPU, which is the Intel Core i9-13900KF, running at up to 5.8 GHz of Turbo Boost max speed. This gives you 8 P cores and an insane amount of 16 E cores, which gives you a total of 32 threads. Cooling that CPU is a EK Waterblocks 360mm AIO liquid cooler. And if that wasn't enough, this unit comes with the NVIDIA RTX 4090 that gives you the top of the line GPU with 24 GB of GDDR6X VRAM. For the motherboard, we do have a Z690. The RAM comes in at 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, clocking in at 5,200 MHz, a 2TB M.2 NVMe for storage, and it's all powered by a Thermaltake ATX 3.0 1200 watt PSU with an 80 plus gold rating, which is important because this is one of the only PSUs that doesn't need an adapter for the RTX 4090 GPU. So looking at these specs, I say it's a pretty safe bet this computer will be good at gaming. Today, we'll test out Gotham Knights and Spider-Man Remastered, no mods, and Mortal Kombat 11. So for our first game, we're going to be going into Gotham Knights. Now, this is one of the new games that supports DLSS 3. Let's go ahead and see. Everything is set to their highest settings. 1080p display, this does go up to 360 Hz. This is going to be running NVIDIA DLSS, and we have it at ultra performance. We have a little bit of sharpening and ray tracing on. Everything set to highest for the quality. All right, and now my first melee of this one. And right now we are sticking to it about 90 Hz. GPU is set to 100% and about 21% of the VRAM being taken up. Now the frames per second have gone up to 100. Let's see how it goes now. Boom! Whew. Love that kick. I think the outside had a lot more reflections. Here we have some that shininess, but really kind of curious to see the difference. I will say, I know a lot of people haven't liked this game, but man, it feels like the old Arkham games for sure. Look at everything right here. Let's go ahead and perch. Just the embers, everything's really looking good. I think this one looks really awesome. One more takedown, and yeah, I would say it looks pretty smooth. I really love the way the graphics look. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And overall, the frames per second seems to be going in at pretty high, but it's really impressive that this is using 100% of the GPU. I'm very curious to see how the other games do. All right, now the next game we are going to be going through is going to be Spider-Man. You can see we have DLSS super resolution and ultra performance set, and as you can see here, it is going to go for the full 1080p display, 120 Hz. It looks like the maximum for this, and everything is set to ultra performance. Now we kick right into the game, and already we are over 270 frames per second. GPU is using more 86. This is what I expected. I did not expect one to fully kind of cap out the game, but let's go ahead and see what some swinging does. And so one thing I noticed earlier for this game is you can actually see inside of every building on the remastered one. So I do not remember that for sure. When I look inside every window, you can actually see stuff, whether it be an office or an apartment. And so you can see the blinds for that one. And it's actually hard to see with the sunlight, which is hilarious. And I can see inside the desk. That is such high quality, like Inception graphics. You can see the clock, you can see the desk, everything. Just little details like this that were not around before that you can now see. By the way, we are up to 300 frames per second. This remastered version is really cool, and I do feel the fans kicking up as we keep playing this. So yeah, the GPU is working. Crowbar, boom. Okay, I will say it is a little difficult to play PS5 games with the Xbox controller. because it's a little bit different gameplay. And you can see in this fight scene, the GPU did kick up to 89% on here. So this looks really good. The ray tracing's on, the fight scene was still good. There is some artifacting I'm noticing in the puddle reflection right here, but overall, like when I was actually fighting, did not notice anything at all, and it really did keep up with it. So yeah, it is going very well, I will say the least, with the new CPU and GPU on here, and very curious just to see how well older games play, because this is really insane. The level of detail this now has, everything that this has brought is just really cool. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and do a fighting game. We're gonna see how this does. Going Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung, just for the epic battle, and seeing how it actually uses it up. So the GPU, as the intros are going, is kind of random, so we'll see where it falls. All right, so we have kicked off Mortal Kombat, and for the most part, even with doing like special attacks, it does not look too demanding. Well, actually it just jumped up to 70, now back down to 30. In most of the gameplay I've seen, it goes around the 30s to 40s, and then sometimes it'll jump up, but maintaining that 60 FPS, no problem there. So yeah, it seems to do a fairly good job of consistently giving you 60 frames per second, which is the most I've ever seen really with Mortal Kombat. It's kind of peaked at that. Overall, the detail looks good, not really pushing the GPU too hard, well, except some spike ups, it just kind of goes. I'm gonna let him get me down so that I can do a final blow and see how it processes that. There we go. And now with the final blow, still staying at 60. And again, GPU has some spike ups here and there, but for the most part under 40%. Even though this is probably one of the best looking games I've seen, that is pretty much where it stands. And sorry, can't do a fatality. Overall, really good quality, very obviously for a fighting game, you just wanted to stay at the frames per second, and it never went under 60, so that's perfect for there. So who would I say this is for? Well, me, if I thought I can get out the door without someone tackling me first. But seriously, this is one of the top of the line consumer pre-built desktops in the world right now. Coming in at $3,999.99, you get everything built and ready to go, so you can start gaming in 4K or editing in 4K. This computer can really do every task you could ever want it to do.
Can it play Crysis?
Yes, it can play Crysis. Comment section. Please don't encourage them. So that's our look at the new ABS gaming PC with the latest Intel 13th Gen i9 CPU and the NVIDIA RTX 4090 GPU. What would be the first game you'd play? Let me know in the comment section down below. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.
I play Crysis.